I've been buying this lately. Have you ever had Japanese peanuts?
No.
They're great, man. They're like a peanut, and then there's like a shell that goes around them, I don't know if it's like a candy, but not really a candy.
Those are called M&Ms.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Oh, I thought it was Japanese.
No, just because they're yellow.
Here, I'm going to see if I can get an image of it. Japanese peanuts. I'm telling you, this is look, it looks like this. Oh, wow. Okay, hold on. Da, da, da. You got to make sure if you type this in, make sure you write Japanese peanuts, not just
not
nuts. Yeah, Japanese peanuts.
Japanese.
And we're back. Hey, everybody. If it's your first time watching, thank you so much for checking out the Pocket Party podcast. If you've been here before, thanks for coming back. Let's start that party in your ear holes. Today, we have a very special guest, and here he is, the one, the only Mr. Steve Mudflap McGrew.
It's a party in your pocket.
That's right.
It's a pocket party. I know we laughed about that last time we did it, but every time I hear it, pocket party. Did you not realize? Did you not?
I didn't. I know. You know what? I swear. You know what? It was that was my second choice. My first choice was going to be it's Darren Carter with the friends in your pocket. But I'm like, then I was like, then it sounds. I got to book guests a lot and have a lot of friends and have them come out of the pocket. So yeah. Pocket party. But I did not know.
You could have had a pocket, like a shirt pocket with stuff coming out of it. That would have been your logo. But this pocket party is like, you have a hole cut in the bottom of your pants?
And I never even thought of that, Steve. I swear to you, I did not. I just thought it was one of those ideas that I kind of thought about, and I held on to it for like 5 or 6 years. And then one day I was like, I'm going to start my podcast, and I've already got the name.
Do you ever think about changing names? Because I do. I mean, I love my podcast name, Remasculate. But every once in a while, I think, maybe a change the name and kind of change the marketing angle and think, because a lot of times you get new terms that are popular and you think maybe I should call this the cancel culture, canceling cancel culture or something,
just because these certain buzzwords are in the lexicon that
maybe
you'll get more because especially imagine if you had like a podcast title or something that was like a really popular phrase and then it's just totally dead, like the Totally Tubular Podcast, or
exactly. But now that sounds really cool and awesome and retro. You know what I mean?
Yeah. You could just have to wait 20 years and then
Well,
hey man, it's bitching with Darren Carter. Yeah.
Bitching with Darren Carter.
Yeah. I don't know, or exactly. Joe Rogan had a good idea, right? The Joe Rogan experience. He said, put your name in the thing. That way they'll type in Steve McGrew experience, the Darren Carter experience. But I figured Darren Carter party starter. I wanted to do something with party.
Yeah, because I did that same thing for years. Mine was under Remasculate. And I thought the same thing. So I actually added Steve Mudflap McGrew's Remasculate podcast. That's how the long title. But, if you type in the name, you want it to pop up.
Remasculate. That means like masculate and then bring back the masculinity.
Bring back men. Bring back John Wayne, man up, America. That kind of thing.
Yeah. That's now. Because you could call it like alpha male. Like that's kind of a popular phrase that's out there now. Like
not a beta male. Soy boy.
You could have dueling podcasts. You could do a character and then do yourself and then see which one does better. And then
I could put on a cowboy hat and be Soy Rogers. Pew, 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 pew. Hi, everybody. I'm Soy Rogers. Pew, pew. Want to see my trigger? Oh, bing, bing, bing.
Yeah. I don't know, man. It's just like, I thought about that a little bit, but then you start thinking, well, I'm not married to any of this because it's not like I'm bringing in those $1 million numbers or nothing, but oh no, what would the 385 fans do? No, but around the world,
it would already be hosted under the same spot. So
I think so. A friend of mine's very successful at this. He's blown up in the last 3 years. Steve, you probably know him or heard of him. Sam Tripoli, Sam?
Oh yeah, I know Sam.
The Tinfoil Podcast, and he said he's reinvented that that I guess it's the same feed, but he's called it different things, like 5 different things. And, he was doing rants for a while. He was whatever the things he was doing. And then finally he connected with the conspiracy world, the people who do, we do research. That's not the mainstream news. And then whatever. And then some of the stuff's actually kind of true. So it's a little interesting when that happens. You're like, whoa, like what else is true?
Well, you know what? Conspiracy theories used to just always be, that always went to that. They called you that right off the bat. That was just to shut you down. Well, that's just a conspiracy theory. No, that used to be just called a theory. You could have a theory about something, because it's not a conspiracy unless you're like, oh, they're trying to overthrow the country of such and such, and it's the aliens that have no. But just to go, I do believe there might have been some voter fraud. Well, I haven't seen any proof. Well, Ray Charles could see it, and he's dead.
Exactly. It's like, I love the way that I listened to Eddie Bravo and Sam. They were talking, and Eddie Bravo said, imagine, everyone tells you something happened this one way. He goes, all conspiracy theorists are doing is saying, well, what about these other 10? Let's put all these different things on a table and say, this could have happened, this could have happened, this could have happened. Here's something that could have happened. And let's just start eliminating and just seeing all these other things that may or may not. And when he laid it out like that, I thought that's kind of interesting,
Yeah, because it's a theory. It's like a scientific, there are these options to it. We could kill this disease with this, or possibly this, or a combo of these two things could do it. But, that's a conspiracy theory. That's not what, that's not what everybody has agreed upon. Well, who says everybody has? That's what I'm, and everybody's waking up to the fact that media has been lying to people forever. And now that people's eyes are open, you see it every day. Like you see it like the headline today is like, Trump begs Georgia, guy for votes. Right. That's not the actual, if you go back and listen to the entire thing, it's not what it is at all. He has his legal counsel on. They have their legal. Do you think two people that are sitting like that, he's going to go, hey, listen, you're going to have to steal votes for me. Do you think that really happened?
Yeah, no. Because I know, I know somebody who doesn't even really want to use a smartphone because they're like, I don't know who else can hear this thing. And I highly doubt, I'm not into politics, but I highly doubt that a president is going to just get on a phone with someone knowing that people are recording. Because we know, like, at least since Nixon and all that, like, people have been recording stuff. You don't want to, right. Dude, let me tell you something. This is how crazy it gets. This conversation you and I are having right now, it's probably being recorded.
What? This one right here?
Holy it might be. Shit. I don't know. It might get out there. I don't know. There's a microphone. Oh my goodness.
Well, here's what I think is hysterical too, is how many legal scholars there are on Facebook and Twitter. Just the amount of people. Well, that's not the law in Georgia. Well, okay. All right. Yeah. You know that for a fact? Yeah. You don't have to tell people in Georgia you're recording their calls. Oh, maybe people in Georgia, but that's not interstate. That's not from the White House. There, you know what? There's state laws and there's federal laws. So when people go, well, the law in Georgia is you don't have to tell anybody. Only one person has to know it's being recorded. Okay. Yeah. But what about the president of the United States? You don't think there's laws that protect that?
Yeah. Hey, have you, speaking of recorded phone calls, have you ever done any prank phone calls and put an album out, or have you ever thought of it, or done wacky videos?
No, but I've wanted to. When I was at the radio station, I really wanted to do prank calls, but people started getting sued for them. And then I found out a lot of the prank calls were actually set up fake prank calls because they have to know. People have to know that you're going to make them look like an ass or you'll get sued. So the old days you could do that, like the Jerky Boys got away with it. But then legally things started to change. Yeah,
because when you said that that recorded thing, I remember with that Comedy Central show, I think they recorded that in Nevada, because in Nevada the laws were, but
Crank Yankers.
Crank Yankers. Yeah, I had a buddy, I forget his name right off the top of my head, Joel, maybe you probably know him too, but he gave me his comedy album back in like the 90s, and it was hilarious. It was all him doing prank phone calls to Chinese restaurants and batteries places and mechanics and just truckers. And dude, it was freaking funny. And I was like, man, I never explored it because I thought it was like low hanging fruit kind of comedy, but I laughed my ass on that. But I'm like, you know what, maybe, like we could bring that back, but I don't know. I mean, like you said, you don't want.
Have you ever heard the one that was like an underground thing that was going around of a guy that was calling the business across the street?
Oh,
like, you look good in those red pants. God damn it, who is this?
Oh yeah, was that called like?
It went on for like years. It was like been like over and over, and the guy was finally losing his brain.
It sounded like a bartender, right? Was it like a red or something, or is like, how? Yeah.
Yeah, it was a kind of a rednecky thing, like
when I went to New York, I remember they were passing that around. They go, you got to check this out. It's like the bar tapes or whatever.
Yeah. It was kind of, it was really funny. Like he was letting him know, like, did you get your hair cut? Looks like you got your, God damn it, stop this.
That's funny, man. Hey, by the way, I wanted to compliment you. I see you got your Garrett hat on, and we talked a little bit about this last time. And I love what you're doing, man. That it's called dirt fishing. It's metal detecting. And And for those of you who haven't seen this, I asked Steve, I said, do you just get a cheap one? Do you get an expensive one? I'm sure it ran. And you said to maybe get one, like a mid-range one, like a $700 one or something is what you recommend.
That's what yeah. Well, I went to the higher, I only went to the higher end because my brother, who is a super metal detectorist, he had an extra one that was a Garrett AT Max, which is like a $700 machine. And he had won it metal detecting. It was a prize that he had won. And he's like, well, you're my brother. I don't want to rip you off, but I don't want to lose, not make some money off of it. So he sold it for me like half price. So that's why I jumped to it. But I have found that if you start too low, too cheap, you're not going to find stuff, and or good stuff. You're going to find metal, but you're not going to find stuff that makes you go, wow, I'm going out again tomorrow. So you really have to put some money into it so you can do it well. You know what I mean? Like you wouldn't want to go fishing with a really crappy pole,
Right. Hey, what you just said, I'm going to write that down. Like I think that's a good key in life. You want something in life that makes you go, wow, I'm going out again tomorrow.
Doing that again tomorrow.
Whatever that is, if it's shooting pool, playing tennis, going to the boxing gym, jogging or whatever, whatever that thing is. Talking to your
wife, any of that.
Talking to your wife. I'm going to do it again tomorrow, honey. Yeah.
That's why I bought a GoPro, because a lot of people like to film themselves doing exciting stuff. So I wear a GoPro when I talk to my wife, because I never know what's going to happen.
Hey, so I recently watched, actually today I watched one of your, I don't know if it was your most recent dirt fishing videos, but it was pretty cool. Like you have a hat on that says Garrett. You had some gloves on. Are those metal detecting gloves or just regular gloves?
They're recommended. They're regular gloves, but they're recommended for metal detecting because you can't cut them because with the knives you can't cut them. Yeah. And it has the finger touch in it where you can actually start your camera or touch your phone.
Oh, cool.
Yeah,
that's cool. I got a pair of those too, but I don't use them for I'm not really cutting anything. But I have that sensitive. Yes, you can use your screen. Question about here's what's great. Like I've gone for long walks and I've jogged, and when I see like even like you said, a quarter or something, I'll pick it up. And sometimes I found paper money, and I love that phrase you said. What was it again? I take it and you would too, or sorry?
Oh yeah, I'll take it and you would too. That's sort of my phrase that I use for my metal detecting, because everybody that does metal detecting videos comes up with something that tries to be theirs. Like I think it's the Hoover Boys. They call it when you find an old coin. They go, "We got some shiny. We got some shiny. There's a silver shiny." That kind of stuff.
Yeah. No, you know what? That's a good phrase. I love that your phrase. I'll take it and you would too, because I think about how excited I get when I'm like, damn, it's like free money. I found 35 cents, which isn't really a lot, but there's something about going for a walk, finding 35 cents, finding 50 cents. Even when there's been times I found like $20 plus some loose ones. I'm like, that's a lot. So you going metal detecting and you lay it all out, and I'm like, that's actually pretty good. Like it adds up, a dime, quarter, dime, 50 cent.
Yeah, $4 or $5 here and there. Like my brother last year, at the end of last year, rolled all of his coins that he found, not the old ones, just the clad coins. and he had over $1,000 worth of
See,
just
that's
porn that he found.
that's great. Most people have a hobby and they lose money doing it, like playing golf or whatever. You got every time, not every time you go out, I bet you find something. Am I right?
Oh,
Like something.
Yeah. I went out today. I drove out to a little small town here in Colorado called Bennett, Colorado, and the old football field. And I was only there 2 hours, and I found about $3-4 in change and one little best friends. It's like, have you seen this? Like half a heart where they're cut in two,
Yeah.
so half to one person. And I found one of those. So
And
it's fun and it's exercise.
It's fun. It's exercise, and you're finding stuff. And then also you're, nowadays you're vlogging it, you're filming it. So if anything, you're creating content. What a fun way to do it, because.
And that's how I sell it to my wife. Like I do.
Yeah.
Like today, I told her earlier, I'm gonna try to clean up the basement tomorrow. Well, tomorrow came, which was today, and I go, I really need some content for the YouTube channel. We need to make some money off the views. Yeah, okay. Yeah, okay. But so I was like, yeah.
What if she would have hit you back with what's really popular, Steve, is those, basement cleaning transformation videos, before and after.
That's what you should do. Create a whole. Yeah, that's the video idea. No.
Yeah.
But that's pretty funny that she'd have come back with something just as, what? You could do a man cleaning a house video.
Yeah.
When you have love that.
Yeah. When you have those headphones on, I see out there, and is it going like, here's what I'm imagining, because I don't know. Does it go beep, 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 like that when you get really close? Is that what it happens? I have no idea.
It used to. That's the way they used to. It was a beep frequency, but now it actually just is quiet until it hits it, boop, and depends on there's low tones and high tones for different metals. So it boop boop might just be something, but if you get a boop, that's probably a coin. And then my metal detector actually has all these numbers on it. So if it's like an 81, it's a dime. If it's an 84 to an 86, it's a quarter. So you listen for the sound.
Oh, wow.
As you look at the numbers.
Because I heard you say something about.
It's really cool.
Yeah, like I'm learning my machine even better. This is a nickel. Like what does a nickel, what's that, like 53?
A 70? 53 to a 52 is a nickel on the Garrett. Now, every machine is different. My brother uses a Mind Lab, which is a really expensive machine, and they have different numbers. And so when I watch videos on YouTube of guys that use Mind Lab, they're like, it was a 17 on my machine. I'm like, I wouldn't have done. Oh, that's right. You're not using the same machine that I'm using.
Well, yeah. What would be like a typical like hammer and nail? Like, let's say you find some nails out there. What are those? Or nails?
They run low. They're a lower number, unless they're big, like a railroad spike. The size of a railroad spike could be like boom, like just.
Oh, that'd be cool. Yeah. But so, do you skip things like that, like the little screws, little nails? Or are you like,
I try. I do sometimes. I admit it is bad. You're not supposed to. Because as the Hoover boys, the guys say, all holes matter. That's their slogan. It's like, dig everything, because you never know. Like a gold ring sometimes will sound exactly like the same number as a pull tab, a little cheap pull tab, like off a can.
Oh.
So you might be passing over a little gold ring if you don't dig it. That's that number.
Do you so you have the metal detector, you have the gloves, you have the headset. Do you do you have like a special shovel? I didn't quite see what the thing that was. Is it like a little? Is it? Yeah. What was that?
I have a special. It's weird you notice it too. There's a special shovel. There are metal detecting shovels that are designed for that, but I got one called the Roots. It's called the Root Slayer, and it's got like a saw on both sides and a super sharp point on it, so you can cut down through roots and dirt. And you want to keep a sharp shovel, because this is part of metal detecting, is you want to cut what they call a plug. And so you can pull that up, get what's underneath it, and put it back down, stomp it down, and you can't hardly tell you've messed up the ground of the yard.
Almost like with golf, like the divot and all that, right? You want to kind of cover it back. And
you want to be very careful, because if you were digging up people's yards or digging deep holes in schools, they'd be like, hey, get off of here, quit destroying the property.
Yeah. But as it is, they're cool with it. It's almost like how skaters kind of like took over, and then they eventually buildings, they were like, oh no, they start putting little metal things so people couldn't like slide on the rails, and they kind of So thank God that metal detecting isn't super popular yet, I guess. And
I guess I saw my very first sign the other day. I went to a park, and there was a sign that said like no dogs, no such, no, and it had a metal detector with a circle and a line through it. So at this park, there was no metal detecting. That's the first one I've never seen that before.
Wow. Like certain buildings, they don't want birds landing on it, so they have like the spikes.
Spikes, yeah.
Like, what if they had that for metal detectors? Like, get out of here, keep it moving. Sorry. Yeah.
Well, single guys put that on the other side of their bed. So,
yeah.
I'm gonna. You want me to spend the night? Yeah, I wish I can't. I've got anti-girl spikes on it.
Sorry, you can hang out here for a while on this side with me, but then you gotta. I'm sorry. I
got bitch spikes over there.
Yeah, sorry. I'll walk into your car. And one last question that I can think of for now for metal detecting, and then we'll move on to the next topic, everybody.
Sure.
But I love this stuff. So some of the stuff that I saw you pull up, there was like grass stuck to it and this and that. How do you clean it? Is there a special way to clean all that stuff out? Like power wash it? Or is there like
I power wash it in the sink with the little spray.
Yeah.
But there is a way to clean it. Like a lot of guys buy the rock tumblers, and there's a mixture that you can do with it, and that'll clean your coins so you can put them into the counter at the bank. So I don't have one of those yet. That I intend to buy one of those. My brother has one. The club the treasure hunting club that I belong to, everybody in there's like, oh yeah, you got to get one. You got, so that's pretty much it. It tumbles and cleans everything.
Do they
kind of like a washing machine for your finds?
For your finds, yeah. Have you done that? Have you ever? Well, the reason I ask is my wife, she just gave me a water pick, so I got a toothbrush / water pick. And
is it the one with the toothbrush? One that it's built in. That thing's expensive.
It's nice, dude. I brush my teeth to the leg, and then I'm like, then you hit that thing, so it's like the water jet's going, and the dentist, he said, leave it at low to medium. Don't crank it all the way up, because you'd think, oh, I'm going to go all the way and then have But I don't do that. But I was thinking when I was watching your metal detecting video, I wonder if you could get like a
water pick.
Yeah, like just
that might work, especially with the little brush on it. And
like
great. I'm gonna bring that up at the next metal detecting club.
Exactly. I mean, it's just there's a lot. It looked like, from what I saw, it was like dirt clods and grass that was stuck. I mean, I think that would
well, sometimes I find like and if you saw the video, as you said, you find a lot of toy cars, and the grass and vines are always through the windows and around the wheels. So you get a clump. Sometimes it looks like a clump. You go, I know it's a car, but I don't know what's in this clump. But that's exactly that'd be great to just. Oh, it's a Hot Wheels. It's the Munsters car.
Yeah. Oh, that'd be awesome. Do you take the money to like a grocery store or something? Like, when you find like, oh, here's $1.50, it's dirty and you can't even barely tell. Do you just throw it up on the counter and they take it? Or
I have bought energy drinks with metal detecting money. It's dirty, but it's not filthy. It's just kind of like you can tell it's been in the yard.
You walk in with like the Garrett hat and the thing slung over your shoulder and like, see, this is out your parking lot.
I'm like the modern day miner that comes down out of the hills and goes, here's some of my gold dust. I'd like a drink, Miss Kitty.
That's awesome. Hey, I bet, do they have I just thought of this. Maybe you could pitch this if they don't have it. Some sort of like metal detecting game show where they purposely plant like stuff out there and then have you guys on your mark, get set, go. And then you guys go out and see who can bring in the most thing within a certain time period.
That's actually pretty cool. Kind of like supermarket sweep where they go, and you got to go find the objects and get back.
Yeah. I don't know, man. I want to be a part of it. Let's do it.
I like that idea.
And
I like that.
You made the main guy out.
Yeah, 1/4 2001.
Yeah. Wait, what year did you say?
2000. Oh, the 2021, 2001. Jesus.
You're like, took us back 20 years. Like, I like it. You know, let's just live in the past. Screw it, man. Like,
Yeah.
hey,
I don't like where we are today. Let's just go back.
Yeah. This would be great. I'll be your little,
Doesn't it feel like it's 2001 sometimes? Does it feel to you like 2021?
It doesn't. It does not feel. It's so weird, man. It's like I remember being at the mall. Okay, on 90 and back in 99, right? 99. It was going to be 2000 Y2K.
Yeah.
I happened to be in my hometown the same time. One of my friends was in the hometown. Like we both moved away, but we went back to the mall that we used to hang out at. And we were like, wow, this is the end of the 90s. And I remember just like it was yesterday. And even that was a weird time. And now it's like 2021.
You thought, it's been 7 or 8 years. It's been a long time ago, and now it's 20 years ago. You know? Yeah,
because the year 2000 sounded like the future. Remember the year 2000 and all that, and Elvis Presley with the Odyssey, the 2001 Odyssey.
You ready for some freaky stuff?
Tell me.
Mad Max was set in 2021.
Wow.
That was supposed to have been the future. Are we supposed to be dressing like that now? Are we supposed to have like shoulder pads with spikes and
I know. Wow. When you write the date down, do you for the longest time, like in the early 2000s, I could, like, before you'd put like 6/3 97, 6/3 88 or whatever. Yeah. And then I just couldn't put 6300. So I'd write 2000, and then it was really hard for me to
01, 02.
Yeah, to flip over. Did you eventually start?
I just wrote Trump 2020 forever.
Oh,
That's
God.
what
Yeah.
No. I felt that same thing of not knowing exactly. Some days I'd put 2001, other times 01. It just depends on how much space was on that little form I was filling out. I think.
Yeah, because then it was 20. Because now I think I'm actually gonna. I haven't had to write. I don't think I've written it yet, but I think now I'm gonna write like. It's so weird to write it down. I'm gonna write it down right now. I'm writing it.
01, 04.
04 21. Yeah, that looks normal. I would do that.
Do you remember where you were on the night of New Year's 1999? Do you remember waiting for the moment for lights to go out and banks to shut down? And
this is hilarious that you asked that. Okay, so do you remember? By the way, if you want to show your support, every little bit helps, and I really mean that. PayPal, go to darrencarter.com. There's a support the show button at darrencarter.com. Support the show using PayPal. If you're more of a Venmo person, you like doing Venmo, it's very easy. At Darren Carter Comic. At Darren Carter Comic on Venmo. PayPal, go to darrencarter.com. Support the show. Every little bit counts. I'm telling you, it means a lot. It means the world. And it keeps this show going. It keeps me motivated, and it buys new equipment, and it just helps. So thank you so much. I remember even 5 years before that. It was 95. They made some announcement. They were like, and it was, I forget who the two big celebrities, it was two really big celebrities. They were like, they've booked their New Year's Eve 5 years in advance. They're going to be in Las Vegas. And it was like, it was a lot of money, like more than, like, it made the papers back then. That's when we had papers.
The new turn of the century party.
Yes, exactly. So I remember that was in my mind, because usually New Year's Eve you get paid a lot more money, right?
Oh yeah.
So I was thinking, this is going to be, I told myself, I'm either going to go out for way, way more than normal, or I'm not going to go out at all, because I don't want to risk it, man. It's Y2K.
Yeah.
So here's what happened. So I went up to the farm away from LA, up near Fresno, and because no big offers came. I was like, okay. I was like, no big offers came. So I was like, that's okay. I mean, I had like okay offers, but I was like, it ain't worth it, man. I don't want to be on an airplane as the
computer shut down on
as it all goes 0-0. Like, it wasn't enough because I don't even like roller coasters, Steve. I'm just like,
I don't either.
Oh, really? See, that's what I'm
not
saying,
a roller
man.
coaster guy.
Yeah, I'm not a roller coaster guy. So I was like, I don't need to be in these weird situations. So I said, I'm going to stay at home. I'm going to chill at the farm, middle of nowhere. I'm going to just, chill. And then here's what happens. I got a call from like a local promoter, and he was like, "Hey, you want to do this little gig?" And I'm like, dude, it didn't even pay. It was okay. It paid okay.
Yeah.
And I was like, he's like, "You'll be out of there by 8:30." I'm like, "All right, I'll do it." And then he goes, "Hey," and then when I was there, I did the gig, and he goes, "Hey, you're already here. Another thing popped up. You want to go do this other thing?" And it paid a little bit more money. And so I was like, "Oh," he's like, "You'll be out of here by 11:30." And then I was like, so yes, I ended up doing 2 medium-sized gigs. Really not, I mean, but if you add it together, it was good money. But still, it went from like nothing to like something to like,
Yeah, maybe. Yeah. Well, I did Birmingham, Stardome in Birmingham.
Nice.
For New Year's, and they did 3 shows in 3 different rooms. You did a show.
Oh wow.
Another room. You went around like this, because they had so much stuff. And I remember thinking and waiting. We all were like looking countdown. Is it the lights just going to go?
Yeah.
And then it was the biggest letdown ever. So, do you wonder about conspiracy theories? Why were they promoting that so much? Are you telling me that the computer guys didn't know their own computers? Did they?
Yeah.
That just seems like a marketing ploy or something that they wanted to pull off on us. While they're not looking, let's do this.
Oh yeah, because everybody was looking at that. Okay. Yeah.
Because now you look back, at the time you're thinking, yeah, that could happen. I don't know. I don't understand computers that well. Now, 20 years later, you're like, come on, these guys, they're the ones that invented the 001s,
Hey, I got to tell you something, man. This is so funny. That's why we have podcasts, because it's like we can open up a little bit more. I'm going to tell you another, speaking of like crappy gigs, I had another New Year's Eve, because I've had some great gigs on New Year's, and I've had some, and this is a kind of a crappy gig. I remember one year I played this, it's so funny too, because I think things are sort of like now what I would consider a crappy gig, like with what we're going through now. I don't know, because things are changing. You know what I mean? Like there's
crappy gig in the old days might be an A room now.
Yeah.
Hey, there was 12 people. It was
exactly.
fascinating.
Yeah. I've heard people. I think I heard Jeff Foxworthy, and he was talking to this other comedian, and they were like saying how like, yeah, we did this show. There was 45 people. There was capacity, and I was like, that's what I'm saying. So I did this gig. It was at a condo. It was a condominium, like like their New Year's Eve celebration, and it was out in Rancho Cucamonga, and dude, what was awful is they had a stand up on the fireplace, like the stones that were in front of the fireplace. But then like, I think it was too hot. So I think they turned it off, but somehow the heat was still, so your backside was getting all warm, and it was just really weird. And this guy came up to me who recognized me from stuff. And he was like a fan, I guess. And he was like, this is when it gets weird. He was blown away that I was there. Cause he was like, he goes, "Bro, he's like, you're like too big to be here, man. Why are you here, man? I thought you were like, and I was like,
you're like, I got bills. I got bills,
man. That's what I'm saying. In front of a hot fireplace. Can someone turn that fireplace down? So, I mean, all I could tell him was the truth. And it almost sounded like a lie as I go, dude, I got a new agent, and everything was already booked. So he got me this, and I said, let's do it, and that's, I mean,
man,
it's the truth.
Too big for this.
You're too good for this, man. I know. I was like, I'll never be. Yeah.
What is the absolute worst gig you ever did? I know mine. I'll tell you after. But what was your?
Oh gosh, my worst gig. There's so many. That you think. Here's the thing. I sometimes would put those out of my mind, so it's hard to recall them. I'll tell you one of the worst gigs, but it didn't really hurt so bad because I just knew I wasn't right for it. This lady saw me at a great rock and roll venue. Like it was like, they do rock, they do comedy, depending on the week. And it was like the House of Blues, like that kind of thing here in Southern California. And I did great. She saw me, but here's the thing. She was the talent coordinator for like Leisure World, like a senior citizen village. Yeah. Mm-hmm. And she was on the younger side of that. She was probably in her late 70s, but she saw me perform in front of like just a regular audience, like people that were in their 20s, 30s, 40s, 50s, whatever. So
yeah, just a mixed crowd.
She saw me in like a regular environment. And then when she hired me most of the audience was in their, honestly, they were like in their 80s and 90s. And honestly, it's like, and she's behind a podium. She's telling street jokes she got off the internet, and she's crushing because that style really works. They loved her. She's like,
so Morty walks into the deli.
Yeah. It was exactly that. It was like, it was so hot. A dog was chasing a cat and they were both walking, and all those jokes, just like blah, 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 blah. So I go up there, and I remember at the time, our son's 13. At the time, he might've been like 2. And so I'm telling jokes about, all that funny stuff that, with kids. And afterwards, I'm telling her, she paid me my money. It was all good. But Steve, it was such an uncomfortable gig. It was so weird. She actually called me like 3 days later, and just as a goof, just for the story, I thought, I'm going to take this phone call. And she pretty much poured her heart out, kind of like chewed my ear off for about 10 minutes. But it was actually entertaining to listen to. She's like, did you not read the audience? You're talking about a newborn. We haven't had children in years. She's like,
she was doing that, like chastising you.
Yeah, but I was like, well, whatever. I already got your money, so I'm fine. I'll do you the, She's like, and then you're doing motorcycle impressions and noises. We don't ride motorcycles. We have scooters, She's going on. And I'm like, lady, I'm doing the same stuff you saw me when you hired me. That was the worst gig. But the kicker was that she called me later to kind of, but I was a nice guy. I took the call. I was like, let her, I get it. It was a weird gig, It was weird on my part,
Yeah, I think I've had 3, maybe 4 that really stick in my head. That one of them was, I was hired to do a doctor's convention, and it was great money. Like I've been stupid not to go. Yeah, I'll take the money. And I thought, doctors, they're intelligent. It's a party. Yeah. You're gonna have a dinner and a speak. And nobody was paying attention to me. Now, nobody. They actually had their backs turned. They didn't even turn around when and I got announced, and I was just wasting my time. And finally, I picked a spot on the wall and just started reciting my stuff. And this one guy down front turns, looks over his shoulder, and he goes, nobody's listening to you, right? And I just kind of nod like this and just kept mouthing my stuff, and did 45 minutes. To nothing, to absolutely nothing. And the other person, one of the people that was there, said, hey, they didn't hate you. They didn't care. They didn't listen. So that was one of the ones that really stuck with me. Another one for me was I got hired to do a gig for the people that built the stadium in Nashville, what's that called? The arena. And I thought it was going to be like a party for it was for the workers, for everybody that built it, everybody. And it wasn't. It was this weird little thing. And they had a table on one end about the length of a football field with all the food and drinks, and the stage was on the other end of the football. Like, wait! And I told her before the show, I go, this isn't going to work. I don't want to take your money. This isn't going to work. I can tell you right now. Oh, it'll be fine. It'll be fine. Once they get started, we'll say, hey, come down here. Okay. About 4 or 5 people came down, but like circled down, like came down and went back to the cocktails. No one wants to leave free booze. No one, you know what I mean? And after the show, the lady was like, here's your money. And she like flung the check. And I said, I told you this wasn't going to work. So that was one that really, stayed.
Do you have any tips? Like if I ever find myself in a situation like either one of those, like, have you learned anything? Is there anything possible? I don't know what you would do.
No, I don't know. I mean, because you don't know it till you get in the situation. And the only thing I could think to do is to leave. I mean, that would be the only thing would be like, no, sorry, I am not doing this. But
okay, I'll tell you.
But everybody's got this thing. The show must go on. The show, it must go on if you're a band or a circus. But if you're a comic, you're one person that has to be listened to. It's the words that are important.
I have found this little thing that I've started doing if I ever do like a corporate gig, and it could be kind of like they're all talking and chatting and stuff. I played a brewery. All right. It was a brewery, and it was like a law office, and they were drinking, and And I found that if I kind of, because, I used to do this thing where I would, like a long time ago, I would stay backstage and I wouldn't go on stage until ta-da, because I read somewhere like you don't see the Rolling Stones hanging out in the lobby.
I agree. I totally agree. I've always felt that. You don't let them see you. You walk out and oh, there he is. If you're walking around, especially the way we look, like I used to wear the high hair, or now I got long hair. I don't want them to go, who's that long-haired guy walking around? I want to be able to walk out and go, they go, what's this? Because at least you grab their attention.
So I was going to say, but but I've learned in certain situations, I just, it's okay. Here's where I got over that. I did a military gig, and it was up at Fallon, Nevada. It was for the Navy. It was in the hangar. It was they had a whole ceremony, and they had like the color guard, and they did like a moment of silence for the prisoners of war, and it was super like intense, man. And but the guy that hired me, he goes, "Hey, listen, can you do me a favor?" He goes, "Can you sit with me at the table?" He might have been joking, but he goes, "Can you sit with me at the table and have dinner?" He goes, "Because otherwise the admiral's going to be there and I don't want to, whatever." So he goes, so I was like, "Oh, sure." I go, "All I need though is if I can have like right before it's about my time, if I can just at least have 5 minutes just so I can get my thoughts together." And he goes, "Sure, no problem." So right away, everyone knows I'm the comic because, I'm dressed like a regular person as opposed to a military. So I kind of had to get over it. But I'm telling you, Steve, it kind of helped that they kind of saw me, and I looked around and I got to experience that wonderful night. But here's what I was about to tell you. When I played the brewery for the law office, I was a little nervous, man, because they'd been drinking since noon. They were playing cornhole with the beanbags, and I was like, "Oh my gosh, I'm gonna bomb! I'm gonna go!" And so here's what I did: I literally would look around, I would stand and I'd look, and if I saw any like what I would consider like friendly like eyes, like there's the guy, I'd walk up to the table and be like, "Hey guys, how's it going?" And sure enough, they'd be like, "Hey, you're the comedian, man. Yeah, we looked you up on YouTube." And so what happened is, Steve, I'd made like little friends, little pocket party friends. No, and yeah. So I would, and then what would happen is they'd be like, "Hey, can we get a picture with you real quick?" I'm like, "Sure." So other people would be like, "Oh, they're getting pictures," and so I would go almost like table to table, like just being friendly to people, like if they want to take a picture, joking with them a little bit, like kind of. You know what I mean? Like, disarming those people that might be like, I ain't gonna laugh, like all those kind of people. Like if I would just sort of avoid them and be like, "Hey, thanks for being here," or whatever. That way, when I hit the stage, I already talked to like
oh, I like this guy. They're kind of like, I like this guy. He's nice.
Yeah.
You know what? That sounds great. I mean, that might be the way to do it. All the time, because I know on the ships when I worked the cruise ships, one of the guys that I work with a lot, Simeon Kirklees, he walks around, he stands outside the door, he waves at everybody. Come in, y'all are gonna have a good time tonight. Y'all are gonna have so much fun, and he doesn't think twice about doing that and then walking out and going, "Hi, everybody." You told me earlier,
It's definitely different. Like I had to learn to do that. Like it wasn't in my nature. My nature was to be like, "I'm the star, ta-da," and But then I realized, like in certain situations, like those corporate type of gigs, it's like it almost better to be like, "Hey, we met earlier,"
Yeah. I know. It's a weird business. However you think of, from whatever angle you're looking at it, this is a weird business.
It's weird, man, because like you said, you can get the standing O's, you can get all the accolades, and then you're thrown in. It might have been Brooks and Dunn or somebody. I remember we used to get this. I think it's called Country Weekly. We used to get like this country magazine,
Country Weekly was a magazine.
Is that what it was? I used to love that magazine because it would tell all these stories and interviews, and they'd ask people, like, that was one of the questions. They go, "What was your worst gig?" And I loved hearing musicians, what they would say their worst gigs were. And it may have been Brooks and Dunn, where they said they were in the middle of a racetrack, like in the middle of the racetrack.
Uh-huh.
And then during their set, they thought somebody thought it was a great idea to have the race start. So you're doing it,
only in America.
Yeah, exactly. That neon light. So when I heard that, I thought, well, at least I haven't done that yet. That could be really awful.
Yeah.
But and don't you think, here's another good point. And this is, I've actually kind of moved more into like your lane a little bit, like being like more, here's what I'm saying by that. Like when I was younger, like in my 20s, my comedy was a little, I had like certain subjects that were funnier probably to younger people. And then as you get older, then you learn how to you get more topics,
this
and
much
subjects.
more.
And
Yeah.
yes. Yeah. It's great, right? Like, it's great. Like you're the kind, and I didn't even discuss this with you earlier. And if you wanted, if you would, I want to try this with you. I feel like a comic with you who's had so many years of experience. I could almost throw out any topic. And I'm not trying to stump you, but almost any basic topic. I know exactly. And something tells me you'll either have a story or a joke. Like your brain will be like, oh, bam. Okay, you ready? I'm gonna give you a couple, then we'll move on to our next topic. Okay.
Okay. All right.
And remember, I'm not trying to stump you. I'm not going to be like, astrophysics or something, but it's just simple. You're like, that's my closing bit. No. Like, let's say you're riffing with someone and this topic comes up. Do you have any
astrophysics? That's the lube, isn't it? That's the stuff that.
See, this guy's quick. Here we go. Ready? Here's the easy one. Maybe, perhaps Christmas.
I've never figured out why they put deer hunting season so close to Christmas. It makes no sense at all. Because when I was a kid, my dad would go deer hunting and I'd find him out in the garage like 3 days before Christmas with a knife going, Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer. There ain't gonna be no Christmas this year, boy. Start crying. Dad, a very shiny. No.
That's funny. See, that's what I'm saying. That's what I'm talking about. Do you have any jokes about Halloween? Any Halloween or stories about October or Halloween?
Candy is expensive. It's gotten expensive because when we were little, it used to just be that orange and black wrapped twisted shit. That's all it was. And you're like, Mama, what flavor is this? And she'd be like, that's Halloween candy. That's what that flavor is. But now they got to have like name brand bars. Well, screw that. Here's what I have found out. You can give away anything as long as you make them hold their bag up higher than their eyes. Just get it up, get it up, get it up. There's your chicken bone. Boom.
Yeah, here's some ice. It'll be melted. No. They just hear the plop plop, but
yeah, they're 2 blocks away before the ice melts and ruins their Smarties.
Yeah. Oh, that was the worst candy for me. I never liked that tart
Smarties?
stuff. Anything that was like Smarties or like the stuff that had that tart taste. I was more of a Butterfingers, like the Snickers bars, Reese's Pieces.
Yeah, I'm a Crackle. I like Crackle.
Oh yeah, Crackle's good,
with
man.
the rice in it or whatever. Yeah.
Oh, that's real good.
I've now become a junkie for British chocolate. I've got a guy that I hit up every once in a while that's over in the UK. I'm like, I'm running low on chocolate. All right, mate, I'll send you some.
You know what I got recently? You know what I've been better. I got to try that. I've been buying this lately. I've been having. Have you ever had Japanese peanuts?
No.
They're great, man. They're like a peanut, and then there's like a shell that goes around them, like I don't know if it's like a candy, but not really a candy.
Those are called M&Ms.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, I thought it was Japanese.
No, just because they're yellow.
Here, I'm going to see if I can get an image of it. Japanese peanuts. I'm telling you, this is look, it looks like this. Oh, wow. Okay, hold on. You got to make sure if you type this in, make sure you write Japanese peanuts, not just
not
nuts.
Penis.
Yeah, Japanese penis.
Japanese penis. And you wonder why Google's knocking at your door.
Yeah, it looks like that. I don't know what that is.
I don't know what that is. That looks like coffee beans almost.
Yeah, there's some sort of shell that goes around it. See, Japanese peanut.
It's like a candy shell, or just a natural shell.
I want to feel like I'm eating healthy, so I don't want to say candy. So let's just read the ingredients together. Okay. Here we go. Right. Japanese peanuts aren't your average run-of-the-mill snack. The whole peanut is coated with an ultra crunchy shell and flavored with a toasty hint of soy sauce. One taste and you'll understand why so many of our customers just can't get enough of these irresistible Japanese peanuts. Packed with 6 grams of protein, they can add a hearty dose of nutrition to your day. Yeah, see, they're not too sweet, it's different. Try it
Pop
sometime.
2 in your mouth, and you'll know why we yell Tora, Tora, Tora.
Hey, look, they actually sell these at your local Walmart. So here it says Walmart. I got it on. I don't know, but yes. Oh, look, Japanese style peanuts from Walmart even has them. So
I'm gonna order some and try them just because you said to.
Try it, man.
I'll
See,
put
there
that
you go. You get.
You know, the wife and I do that. We have a trying stuff channel, so that's going to be one of our trying things right there.
Hey, give me a little shout out. And you know what? So remember the shout out. Remember, I like this. Wow, that phrase you said earlier. Wow, I'm going to go out and do this tomorrow. So whatever that is in life. Wow, I'm going to go out and do this again tomorrow. If it's whatever that thing is, that's
whatever
a good
it
thing
is
to live by. And also, maybe we could come up with an idea of a metal detecting game show or something. I
love that idea of like you said, hide it and go find it. You know,
yeah.
And maybe have like a certain token that's hidden in a new car. You know that.
Yeah. You know, you get 5 metal detecting buddies or whatever, and you rope off or chalk out like a certain area and things, almost like Easter egg hunting. You know, Easter egg hunting. And watch us Google this, and it's already been done. But I don't care. I still think it's a fun idea.
Or you do you do it on an island. It's called Treasure Island.
Ooh, see, that. Or just fake it. Just Treasure Island, and it's in Bakersfield. And
we'll just CGI water around it.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. See, we could be like you be the main guy, and I'll be like Gilligans. I'll be your little buddy. You know, like
I'll hit you with my hat.
Dang, I never did this before, Steve. Little buddy, that's you keep finding pennies. No. Yeah. I go out there with like a snow shovel, you know, the wrong kind of shovel and whatnot. But
speaking of Gilligan's Island, how hard did it hit you that Mary Ann died?
Man,
Mary Ann. I had no idea she was 82 because I watched the reruns and she's hot and 20.
I know.
That's the thing about TV. You never age in those reruns, you know?
I know. I saw, yeah, you're right. I mean, I always liked her a little bit more than Ginger. And especially as I got older, I'd see little clips of her and I always liked her a lot. You know, did you have a favorite Brady Bunch girl that you liked while watching the Brady Bunch?
Well, I think it was always Marcia because we were about the same age. But I always thought that Jan was cuter. But because, you know, you're 13, you can't go back. I can't like a 12-year-old. You know what I mean? At that time period, you're like, I'd be worse. She's like a grade younger than me.
It's funny because when I was
now you look back at that and a grade younger is weird. But you'd be like, I'd date somebody 25 years younger than me now.
When I was like first grade, I liked Cindy Brady. I like Cindy. I was like, but I thought she was just cute. I was like, I like Cindy. I didn't really like her, but I was like, I like Cindy. And then I don't know. And then I completely skipped over Jan and went straight to Marcia when I hit puberty. I was like, Marcia.
It brings a whole new meaning to it, doesn't it? Oh, Marcia.
Yeah. Oh yeah, I liked I Dream of Jeannie. I thought that was cool. You know, she's like bang, you know. Yeah.
See, now another thing that just spins off on this is all those shows had great theme songs. Shows now don't have theme songs because they overlap. I think it's weird now. You're watching TV, one starts in a little box underneath it and then moves up. It's like they don't want anything that might make you switch away. But remember how, like, the whole Gilligan's Island theme song was to set up the premise.
Yeah. Love that theme song.
And you hear a tale. And they're like, okay. And you hear from another room, show's starting. You know?
Yeah. And then it got really good. The weather started getting, you're like, whoa. Yeah.
But all those shows were like that.
Dukes of Hazzard, just the good old boys.
Never meaning no harm. And but I remember, like, as a kid, like, I was a big fan of there was a show called Combat when I was a kid. And you could hear that theme music. And my brother and I would be like, just throw down our toys and run to the TV. Oh, it's coming on.
That's cool. I don't remember Combat. I'll have to look it up.
Yeah, look up Combat. If you can find the reruns of it, it was a really cool show. That's one of the, I don't know if you've noticed or not, there's a lot of these channels that have started to pop up, like TV, Grit TV, FE TV. There's a whole bunch of these.
Antenna TV, I think.
Antenna TV is
nostalgia stuff. Yeah.
and you could just turn it on and all day long you're like, I'm watching this because I feel like I'm back in my room as a kid, you know.
I know. I bought Waylon Jennings' greatest hits album, and he sang the Dukes of Hazzard, and there's more to that song that I'd never heard until I bought this album.
Oh yeah, it's like a real song. Yeah,
it's like a real song. There's a part of the song where he goes and then he goes something about explaining to his mama why you only see my hands and never my face on TV or something. Yeah. And I was like, oh yeah,
showing my hands and not my face on TV.
Exactly. That is funny. You're right about the going down nostalgia lane. My wife and I watched a movie the other night on Turner Classic Movies, I think, or AMC. I forget. It was one of those networks, the throwback. And it was a movie it came out in 1945. And it was great. It was something about the strange affair of Uncle Harry or something, I think. And it was basically about a man who lived with his two sisters in a nice, like, Victorian house. And apparently the family lost their money in the Depression, but then the kids were still in the house. And when I say kids, it was, they were family members, but like the older sister was like 60 and the man was 45 and the younger sister was, I don't know, who knows, like late 20s or whatever. And it was a great story because, the younger sister just thought the three of them were just going to live there together. And she really liked her older brother and didn't want him to get married. He finds the love of his life. He's going to leave them all. And she's like, it's either her or me, and there's this whole dispute. And I mean, I don't want to give away the I don't want to spoil a movie from
1945 movie.
Yeah. Screw it. I'm going to do it because it actually said this in the description. My wife goes, why would they give away the ending? But I guess that's the way they did it back then. I don't know. Basically, like he realizes that he's like sad. He's like never going to get married because the fiance says it's either me or your sister. If your sister's basically pretending to be sick and she's going to always do this and ruin our marriage and blah, blah, blah. So, so she leaves. Turns out a week later, she gets married, moves to New York, vacations in Europe, and this guy's just like, no, his fiance. Yeah. So he's back at the house living with his younger sister and his older sister. And the older sister has a heart. She was a widow in this movie. And she's like, oh, I'm so, that was the love of your life. And then the younger sister's like, but he's back though. He's back. Long story short, that little sister's evil. She killed his dog with some poison. And the pharmacist said, hey, the pharmacist at a party goes, hey, I saw your, it's too bad about your dog. We had to put it to sleep with the poison. And he goes, what are you talking about? He goes, my dog died of old age. He's like, no, your sister Letty, she bought the poison. He's like, what? And then so it dawns on him like, wait a second. She killed my dog. She doesn't want me to get married.
Oh,
yeah. So then what does he do? They're having cocoa one night. He puts some poison in the cocoa and he gives it to his sister. The phone rings. The wrong sister drinks it.
Oh,
boom.
No.
Yeah. And so guess what? I mean, but this is all when you hit info, it says, because we're like, why would he give away that he poisons the good
sister?
Yeah. So I guess, spoiler alert. So for 1945. So the way the movie ended, it was supposed to end with the maid comes in and she sees the sister dead on the floor. They realize that there's poison in the mug or whatever, the cocoa mug.
They assume he killed her.
No, they assume that the evil young sister did. Yeah. And exactly. And that's why the guy's like, yeah. She was always jealous of everybody. No.
Yeah, that's it. That's the ticket. Yeah.
Yeah. So then the guy is such a good guy. He writes a confession letter. Right. And then, but they won't accept it. They're like, there's no way you killed her. There's no way.
Stop trying to protect your little sister.
Yeah, exactly. You're trying to protect your little sister. And the little sister comes in, right? Just the two of them in the interrogation room. By the way, they're going to give her the death penalty. And you know what she does?
What?
She doesn't say, thank you for saving me. She's like, because she's really evil. She's like, you're going to live with this for the rest of your life. You're not going to be able to sleep at night. You're not going to be able to eat. You're not going to drink because you know that my death is on your hands. And this is what you deserve. Yeah. And then she rings the bell and the cops take her away. And he's like, oh my God. Well, you would think it's how it ends, right? But it's not.
Oh, that's the way another twist. What?
That's the way it was supposed to end. But apparently, even back then, they did tests for audiences, and they said the younger people in the audience wanted a happy ending. So then it shows him like kind of drinking cocoa, and apparently that killing his sister was all a dream. So the love of his life comes back in the door. She really didn't get married. His older sister's upstairs. She really didn't die. I mean, it's just like, and they said that the actress, I believe the actress that played the evil young sister, she didn't want to come back and reshoot any of the scenes
because she thought that it was a great movie. That's the way it should have ended.
Yes. So they said that actually cost her contract. She didn't do any more movies with MGM or whatever it was. I don't know. You guys can look it up sometime. It's I already told you every plot point, but
yeah. But you know what? You can watch any of those old movies now, and they're good because we've never seen them before.
Absolutely.
Yeah. You know, a good story is a good story. And now I watch new movies and I go, who's that actor? Oh, that's such and such from such and such sitcom. I don't know that show. So I feel the same way when I watch an old movie. I don't have to know who the actor is as long as they do it well. So right. I love watching older movies now.
It was interesting because just the way they spoke was different. The house was different. Like the furniture, they had back then people used to have these, like these giant like desks and tables and dressers with little, I mean, it was just really cool to see things from that period,
Yeah. Oh yeah.
It was cool.
We're watching right now. My wife and I are watching a series, was a Masterpiece Theater, and it's called Pole Dark. And if you haven't seen it, you should check it out. It's really cool. It's set in 1777, 78. And that's what's cool. Like you were saying, it's like you're looking at all the stuff in these houses and you're like, man, who knew that they actually already had that back then? Who knew that the giant doorknob.
Yes.
They had I didn't think they had doorknobs back then, but that's, it's cool to look at period pieces and see things like that.
There was so much stuff I wanted to get to. We didn't even get to half of this stuff. I want to get you back on. I'd love to have you back on. We'll
do it again. I love hanging with you.
Likewise. Let me ask you a couple of questions about, I always do this thing and we didn't get a chance last time. Questions about happiness. About happiness. All right. What is something recently that you've either discovered or rediscovered that's made you happy?
Well, a new cat. I hate to say that out loud because I'll probably just throw my man card into the shredder. But I'd never been a cat person, and my wife adopted a cat, and we had him for 7 years, and he died. And I was like, oh, well, I went and got a real young cat from the pound, you should say, and it's weird. This cat would hide, never come out of his box. And now 4 days later, he wants to sit in my lap. He follows me around the house. My wife goes, that cat is crazy about you. And it makes me so happy. I mean, like really genuinely
that's cool.
It really, it's a weird happy. Not like hey, I enjoyed that show. It's this weird kind of, come on, buddy. Let's go for a walk. Follow me. I'm going into the washroom. Follow me.
Yeah.
It's this weird happiness.
That's a trip, man. Like there's a couple cats up at the farm, and one of them really is, I don't know. It's like, well, there's one wild cat or stray cat that just doesn't even come around and wants to fight the other two. And that cat, I think they nicknamed it like Tuxedo or something because it's black and white and looks like it's wearing a tuxedo with the white paws. And then the cat that there's another cat. His name is it's a country theme. His name is Kitty Chesney, like Kenny Chesney, Kitty Chesney. Yeah, I might have it wrong, but I'm pretty sure that's what it is. And then the other cat is the one that really likes me. It's a female, and she's black, and her name is Meow Haggard.
Meow Haggard.
Yeah. So Meow Haggard will I don't know if she just follows me or everybody, but cats, apparently they like to, if your back is to them, they like to run up on you and stuff. It's like their instinct. Does that cat do that to you? Like,
yeah, he jumps. Well, this one hides and attacks my feet when I walk by. Like just jumps out and
wow.
Like he loves socks. So I feet. So yeah, I think that it's really weird because I've never been a cat person. I liked the one before, but this one, it's like there's a newfound
Oh, that's
joy.
cool.
It's weird how you think something loves you, you know,
Yeah,
like
yeah.
that little thing just is crazy about me.
That's awesome, man. Okay, so what is here's a next question about happiness. What is something that you have recently figured out? You know, something that was like a puzzle or something that you just couldn't figure out. I don't know if it's, you know, like an internet thing or a computer thing or an editing thing or it could be anything. Something that you figured out like, aha, here's how I do this thing.
I think it's aha that I figured out the comedy business. It's I've been busting my, like, just working hard, like wanting to take every gig. Maybe somebody will see you. I'll take this for exposure. I'm going to do this for exposure. And then finally, I think COVID put this thing of sitting at the house going, you know what? I realize I'm happiest when I'm home. I'm happiest when I'm doing normal things again, because it gives me ideas for new jokes. I got so caught up in just performing. And now you realize, no, living your life helps you be a funnier person. And
Absolutely.
don't worry about where you are, because you are paying your bills. If something happens, great. But just be happy. Just enjoy your life. Enjoy creating. Enjoy being an artist again.
Yeah, I have a friend. He has a notebook that he writes down every time he does a show, and he hasn't been doing it that long. Like in our world, I think he's been doing it maybe now for like 9 years or something, which is a long time. But you know, compared to what you know, and I don't really judge my comedy off that. Like I don't anymore. Like, you know, like this year I did 400 shows. Last year I did 300. I'm improving. It doesn't really, in my mind, because I've seen comedians that have done like there was this female comedian that did like, you know, like 7 shows and like she has some crazy number. Like I did 800 shows, but I don't think her stuff was that good compared to somebody who maybe does 3 shows a week, but they're really good quality shows, you know?
Yeah.
So,
well, don't you think there are genuinely funny people? And then there's people that want to be a comic.
Yeah. And they do.
I just want to be a comic. I've always wanted, I listened to records in my room when I was a kid. And I really want, and they're really not funny. They just want to be funny, or they want attention. I noticed that from a lot of, and I know this sounds horrible, but you see it in a lot of new talent people. They just want somebody to like them. There's something about they don't have boyfriends. They don't have girlfriends. They don't even have many friends. They just, here's my observation. I think they liked me. Don't you think they liked me?
Yeah.
You know?
I know. That's gosh, I don't know, man. My next show, I got something coming up actually this month. I'm going to be out in Phoenix, Arizona at Stir Crazy. I don't know if you played Stir Crazy.
No, I heard it's a great club.
It's awesome, man. You would crush out there.
I'm at Wise Guys.
Love that place.
Wise Guys 8-9, January 8-9, which is next weekend.
Yeah.
So we're still working, brother. We're looking at this. We're working, you know?
We're working, and we'll do that metal detecting game show. And, you know.
We should book a gig together again sometime. We haven't done it for years, and maybe we could do 2 days and then metal detect during the day and then comedy at night.
Oh, that'd be great, man. I'll bring my I was gonna say my equipment, like my different microphones and stuff, and we'll podcast and film some stuff, and that'd be fun, man. Something like that. I especially something that's like, man, how great is that when you do the road with a friend? It's like, it's the best, man. It makes the whole time almost like a real work experience, because you're like, you know, you're filming stuff during the day, you're doing shows at night, you're hanging out, I don't mind being alone, but here's what I like. I like working with someone I like. I like being alone. What I don't like is when you work with an a-hole. That's the worst part. And you have to be around them all the
one that's on all the time. Like to be a good comic, you don't have to be on all the time. You don't have to be trying to crack jokes with the waitress at the dinner.
Exactly.
You know, like, stop embarrassing me. You know what I mean?
I know.
I don't know if you've ever worked with one of those guys. You're like, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
Hey, we're the comics down at the club. We're the comics down at the club, and you know, you're like,
exactly.
Whatever,
I know. I think you get that out of that was probably me the first year in comedy. And then luckily that first year, nobody, there's no cameras or no proof that this ever happened. But yeah, that's when I was like, oh, I'm actually like, I'm funny to this group of people for a while. And then I'm just annoying them. And but I'm going to keep doing it. I didn't know when to turn it off.
Well, I could tell you, this is an absolute, because I'm typically a very quiet person. And I remember doing a gig where the guy picked me up at the airport. I was tired, and after the show, I got a standing ovation, not to brag. I got a standing ovation. And he told me, he goes, wow, I would have sworn you weren't going to be funny. I go, why is that? He goes, you had nothing to say all the way from the airport. I go, what? I don't know. I don't know you. I don't, what am I supposed to be like? Hey, I'm so,
But I know people are like, you're nothing.
Turn it on. You have a persona that you take on stage, and you learn to turn it on and off. Yeah.
You just can't start right away with your freedom. Can you imagine? You open up I don't know what your first jokes are, but like I'm just imagining when, you just being on right away, like right when you get in the car, I'm just like,
start the party.
Just the guys just trying to drive, and I'm like, so my wife gets on my nerves, and I laid on my son the other day, and
then he's like, oh man, you were funny. I thought you were an asshole in the car, but you were.
Exactly.
You got to get either way,
Yeah. In closing, because this could go on all night, and it would be awesome. Let me ask you a question, Steve.
Sure.
What is your words of wisdom? Do you have any words of wisdom? Anything you'd like to share with people, that something you've learned in life along the way?
Oh, wow. I try to look for the good. That's one of the things. It may not be words of wisdom, but I always try to look for the silver lining in something, because I've always been, my mom always raised that, that everything has a purpose, well, maybe it just wasn't God's time for you. That wasn't in the plan for you yet. So everything, I try to look for the good, like, okay, that happened. That took me a step further. Or maybe that happened because I wasn't supposed to have that. So don't ever be like, oh man, I didn't get the gig I wanted. Oh man, I didn't win the lottery just be like, oh, this wasn't my week to win it. Next week, it's next week,
Exactly.
Just always be kind of like positive and keep moving forward. That's one of the reasons. It's my wife is, as you probably know, is younger than me, a lot younger than me. And people are like, I couldn't have dated somebody younger than me. I don't know what I don't even know what you guys have to talk about. It's because I don't live in the past. There's nothing in the past. Our life from the day we met forward. That's how you live. We went on a date. We talked about that movie. We went to that restaurant. We talked about that. We talked, what I mean? You don't go, man, 30 years ago when I was in high school, that was the best year of my, you know what I mean? So I've never understood.
But I do have to say this, earlier in the show, you said I feel like I'm back in my bedroom as a kid because you like those nostalgia programs like I do. But do you get her to like those with you?
Yeah, she actually watches them now because she's never seen them before. And it's kind of like you were saying, you watch that old movie and like, that was cool. She doesn't look at them as old. She looks at them as, I've never seen this before. She loves Heart to Heart. She now is what was that, an 80s Heart to Heart?
Yeah.
She loves, like, let's watch an episode of Heart to Heart.
Oh, that's cool.
I think you just have to look at things through a different, like, not that was my glory days. Those guys are like, man, the old days were the best. They were the best when I was on the football team, like, yeah. Just keep going forward. Every day is a blessing,
That's cool, man. You know what? Like I noticed with my son, he's 13, and it's great that he's able to be entertained and like things from the past, because like just like with your wife, there's great art that's already been made, why not go back and watch like Heart to Heart, or see something like, like the Bee Gees. I watched that Bee Gees documentary, and I'm like, they have so many good songs.
Yeah.
By the way, did you know that the Bee Gees, Barry Gibb. Yeah. Barry Gibb.
Yeah.
I just read this article. there's going to be some country artists that are going to cover some of the Bee Gees albums,
like a tribute album of country.
Yeah, they're going to cover it. Did you hear about that at all?
No,
Okay,
I was a big Bee Gees fan. I loved the early Bee Gees stuff.
Dolly Parton is going to cover one of the Bee Gees songs. She's going to cover, and I hope I get this right. Let me just Google it. I think she's going to cover Words.
Words and words are all I have to take your love away.
Yes. But Dolly Parton watches. Yeah, I think that's what she's going to cover. Gosh, I hope I'm not wrong. Okay, forget this. I'll Google it later. Google it, people.
Words.
So good.
I started a joke. We started the whole world laughing.
My son and I did that. We did that. If you guys check out my YouTube channel, we did like a little 45-second video where he did that. He's playing guitar and he goes, I started a joke that started the whole. And then I come in and I go, I like my women like I like my guitar with the long neck and a G string. You know?
Oh, I did. I forgot. I saw that.
And then his
front of him, and
and then his punchline was, which started the whole PC world crying. Because I've actually had this happen twice, with the I like my women jokes.
Yeah.
And it's both been from guys that are about 21 years old. I'm saying that because they look really young. Like this guy yelled out, misogyny or something like that's such a misogynistic joke, which is like ridiculous. It's like,
I like my women like I like my coffee.
How's that?
Ground up and in the freezer.
Oh gosh. That's misogynistic.
That's misogynistic.
I'm zipping my mouth. I'm canceling my laugh.
I like my coffee like I like my women.
How's that?
Quiet.
Yeah.
Misogynistic.
Yeah. See, when they yell out stuff, I usually like riff with it. Like, I like my women like I like my. I used to do it all the time. I was really sharp with it. Like one time somebody yelled out period. They say it. Periodic tables, because that was one I remember because it was different. It wasn't just like beer, it was like periodic tables. And I kind of pause, and here's what I pause. I beatbox. I go periodic tables, and I'm thinking, and I go with some bad elements.
Oh yeah, snap.
Yeah.
Like I guess the great one is supposed to be I like my women like I like my coffee, hot and black.
Yeah. If they say coffee, full of my Irish cream. There's the jokes. I don't even do these anymore because I kind of, I would do it if I was in a club, but if they say, if it's Christmas and they go Christmas tree, I go kick to the curb after Christmas.
Oh yeah.
Tied to the roof of my car. picked up at a CVS parking lot. Oh man, I could do those all day. Oh, if it's like flag, you have a flag behind you, I'd say, I like my women like I like my flag, on my pole end waving.
Oh yeah. Yeah, next time we do this, we should come back with a bunch more of how I like my anything jokes. We'll just come up with a ton of I like my.
Give me one. Let me see if I can improvise. I need the work. Okay, we're good. Okay. Hey, folks, the show ended. This is bonus. I like my women like I like my
car.
Ooh, used with a spare tire. And horny. A rental. No, I don't know. A rental
with no slippage in the rear end.
Ooh, I like that. We'll do it. One last one. I like my women like I like my
fishing pole.
Fishing pole. Bought at Kmart. I
don't know. I like my women like I like my light bulbs.
Easy to screw and a little burn out.
And not so bright.
Not so bright. There we go. Easy to turn on. Hey. Oh, last question. This is great that you said that. We must be mind melding. I swear to you. I'm not kidding. I was going to ask you this earlier. So, you know how there's certain things that like I feel like you have a lot of life experience. All right. So I had there's something that we had to replace, and I didn't really give it too much thought, but I didn't even know where to purchase this. I'm sure if I Googled it or thought about it, I would know. Do you have any idea? This would be interesting if your wife was around. I wonder if you guys would, if she would get it right, or if you would get it right. Or okay, here's the question.
Okay.
The light bulb, speaking of light bulbs, it went out in our refrigerator. So I open the fridge, light bulb's out. My wife unscrews the light bulb, looks at it, and immediately tells me where to find another light bulb. And I didn't have a clue. Do you know where to get a light bulb if your light bulb in your refrigerator goes out?
The only thing I would do would be to take out my Amazon app, see if there was a scan that I could scan anything on it to see.
Oh yeah, see?
That would have been my thing, because
yeah, I was like,
I would either I would take the bulb. First of all, I got to know where the bulb is. I had to find that.
Yeah.
But then I would probably take it down to Lowe's or Home Depot and go,
boom.
I need this.
That's it. It was like a smaller, like it was like a light bulb. You could imagine a light bulb smaller. Exactly. She goes, hey, tomorrow or whenever, just when you get it, she goes, go to Home Depot. I did not know to go to Home Depot. I would have my first thing would have been drugstore, grocery store, or after I would have wasted my appliance, and then I would have went to an appliance store. Like I probably would have wasted some time going to those, first two places that, but yeah, I was like, that's cool. Like, it's so funny how, like
women are real problem solvers. I mean, they are like, here's what we should do. A, B, C. And then if we have time, we can do D,
Yeah.
And I'm like, we already do today? One thing. Like we can get this one thing.
I'm going to take this light bulb. I'm going to go look for you.
Oh, and that's going to be an all day. It's going to be an all day thing. I'll be back this afternoon.
Yeah, I got a wheelbarrow, because there was a wheelbarrow that was had like a flat tire, and I wanted to put my believe it or not, I wasn't really trying to repair the wheelbarrow for work.
A wheelbarrow with a flat tire.
Yeah, it was a wheelbarrow with a flat tire, and I just wanted to put my son in there so I could like pick him up and like push him. I thought it'd be fun for him, and for me, I could get like a workout, and it's like a fun workout, and so I was like, oh, I'm gonna make it my mission to get this tire fixed. So I went to a hardware store. I forget the name of the place, but it was like it's like the like Harbor Freight or something like that. And the guy goes, he kind of giggled, and he goes, yeah, they sell. He goes, what kind of wheel did you want for this wheelbarrow? Do you want one that has air or no air that doesn't get flat? Or, I mean, it gets really in depth, and I never even thought about this. And I go, well, gosh, just give me one that with no air, one that doesn't get flat. And he just starts grabbing, because there's all these wheels up there. Yeah. He just starts grabbing and I'm like, man, you're really good at this. How do you? And he basically, which is common sense, he goes, well, if it has a stem, that means it's going to require air. And if it doesn't have a stem,
that means there's no air.
Yeah. And I was like, oh, because he was just so fast. Like, this looks like the right size. And
well, it's those guys that do it for a living, do that stuff. Although like warehouse guys, like if you ever took an auto part, in and you go, okay, I need this. What is it? I don't know. That's why I came here. I don't know.
Yeah.
This looks clogged to me. Is it clogged? I don't even know if it is.
Yeah. And it was kind of funny too, that wheelbarrow guy, he goes, oh, how much weight are you carrying? And I didn't want to tell him that it was my son, because it'd be
about 112 pounds.
Hey, Austin, get over here. How much do you? 100. Yeah, exactly. So, yeah, that's life on the farm, man. Having a little fun up there. But Steve, thank you so much. This is it's been a treat, and like I said, let's have you back on next month, and I'll be glad to do your show again. And
we'll do mine again. And now that you've taught me how to do video podcasting, I'm so excited about this. So I'll definitely have you back, and I'm going to hit up a couple of guys that my celebrity friends that will be like, hey, I'm going to do video podcasting.
Yeah. Do that. Yeah, see if Roseanne Barr will do it, man.
That'd be awesome. Cool. I did her podcast. Did you ever see it?
No, it's awesome.
No,
really?
Go check out. It's funny. She wanted to interview. She's a big fan. I've known Roseanne for years, but she's a big fan of my character, Liberal Larry. She wanted to interview Liberal Larry on her podcast. So,
oh wow,
yeah. So it starts off with me in the pink pussy hat and everything, being Liberal Larry, and then finally I break like an hour in. I break character. I can't do it anymore. And
I was going to ask you,
we're old friends, and
Yeah, how do you keep up? It was. Yeah. That'll be another podcast. I'm like, gosh, I got so many stories, but is is it hard to go from a character to yourself, or do you just be like, okay, enough of that anyways? I'm, like, what do you do?
Kind of,
like,
well, I was trying really hard to stay into it, but
yeah.
I think when you do a character like that, you have to start. Like I put on the hat and so I had the scarf and I was doing this around the house before it's almost time to go do Liberal Larry, So that one, she's ready to go. Hi, Roseanne. So good to see you. Oh,
Yeah. That's so cool, man. It's great. It's great that your wife finds it, you guys meld and she thinks it's funny and you guys, man, that's great. I'm going to ask you next time we're on the show about relationships, about marriage, about
we'll do a whole relationship show,
a whole thing about how if you've ever been married before, like any of this kind of stuff. I want to know.
Yeah, we'll do that.
We'll do all that. Steve, thank you so much. And hey, keep people laughing and informed.
Back at you, brother.
And wow, I'm going to go out tomorrow. Wait, how do you say it again? Wow, I'm going to go out and do that again tomorrow.
Yeah, I'm excited to do it again tomorrow. Yeah,
you got it,
buddy.
Let's
do
all
it
right, man.
again.
You got it.
Take care. See ya.
See ya.